right
he
time.
did an interview with our colleagues, friends at IFL, and he said that Tyson didn't pay Usyk enough respect in the build-up to the first fight. Maybe that's why he didn't treat him appropriately in the fight. But he also said this was the one that drew the most attention, that there's no way Tyson will ever beat Usyk.
We will see. We will see. Listen, can Tyson do what he couldn't do? Because there was no way he beat him on 2 occasions. We will see. So let's see if Tyson proves him wrong on the 21st. One thing's for sure, he didn't beat him.
No. What did you make of Tyson's interview that we saw recently on the Ferocity channel? Because that's drawn a lot of attention, saying it felt too easy, or an easy fight against Usyk, like fighting a local amateur. I think they were the standout quotes.
I
Local to
don't know about
Kyiv.
local amateur. I don't know about local. Listen, he's a very good fighter, Usyk, and I don't know. You know, I haven't seen the interview, by the way, but I have actually, I have some of the things heard. What do I think about that? I think it's a very close fight. It was a very close fight. You've asked me before who I thought won it, and I thought Tyson done enough to just win it. A lot of people said it was the other way, and a lot of good judges, people who are neutrals like Thomas Hauser and quite a few people I know in the States, had it the same thing, either a draw or one. Some had it to Usyk, a couple had it to Tyson. That was the type of fight it was. It took a lot out of both of the guys. It was a fight of 2 halves, no doubt about that. I thought Tyson won the first half of the fight, and I think what the easy part of it he was talking about up until that round. I think it was the 8th round when he got caught on the nose.
Oh yeah, the 8th, yeah.
Up until then, I thought he was really starting to look. He was very comfortable. He was catching him with shots, and I remember the feeling. We were all sitting where we were sitting watching the fight. A lot of people felt and said he's going to do him in the next round. But he didn't. He got caught on the nose, and it took away a lot of his composure. And if you watch him, he keeps touching his head and touching his nose, and it obviously done some damage there. And that was a little bit of a turning point for Usyk in the fight. And obviously, the next round, he nearly had him out on his feet. But Tyson came back in the fight, won the last round, and it was what it was. But I went in the dressing room, as I said to you before, after the fight. Both guys gave everything, and they both knew they was in a fight. There's no doubt about that. And I genuinely think the next one will be a great fight. And I do think Tyson will reverse what happened in the first fight.
If Tyson genuinely believes it felt easy or it felt comfortable while he was in there, is that a concern in that he won't work on the things that went wrong?
Well, no, he'll work on. He knows what he's got to do. But you've got to look at him in that fight. Just a couple of times in the fight, he's messing about, isn't he? He's up on his toes. He's dancing around. He's, moving around, dropping his hands and that. He'd done that. And I'd have preferred, to be honest, he didn't do that. But he does that in fights. When he's comfortable, he does things like that. I think the fight will be much different next time. I do think it'll be a different fight, because I've seen in there what Tyson can do when he's focused and on it. You've seen what he can do in a fight, and it's whether he allows Usyk back into the fight as he got into it in those latter rounds. But I thought, it was a very, very close fight. I ain't complaining about decision. The decision's the decision. That's where we are. One of the judges gave it to Tyson. It's a close decision.
Quick couple of questions on the September 21st undercard, which is very impressive. There was some fights we were expecting, some pleasant surprises. Hamza Shiraz is #1 in the world with 2 of the governing bodies at middleweight. Why is Tyler Denny the right fight for him at the right time?
Because the 2 champions are tied up in fights at the moment. So he's got to have a fight. And Tyler Denny has just beaten Felix Cash, and he's available. And it's a nice domestic British fight. European fight, by the way.
Would it have been Felix Cash if he'd won?
Yeah, I think so.
But Tyler Denny's coming off upsetting the apple cart, and now he's got another opportunity to do the same thing. He's on a real run of doing that.
Well, that's the business that these guys are in. I mean, they go out there, they take advantage of the situation. We've seen it happen before, and I'm sure it's going to happen again. He's going to have to be at his best, Hamza, and Hamza's a very capable fighter. Again, come through our system. not a guy who was well known. I'll say was known as an amateur, but not a massive. Didn't come in with a glittering, gold medal or Olympian and all that stuff. He came in and he's had, I think Queensbury, I think all the team around him have done a brilliant job for him. So he is where he is now, and he can't afford to slip up.
Now, along with HE and Seller and yourself, Eddie, Spencer Brown, you've kind of created this whole Riyadh season thing. It's gaining momentum, and Boxer, Sky Sports have shown some of the fights, but Boxer as a promotional entity were largely shut out from it for quite some time. Why now has Ben Shalom and Boxer been allowed into the fold, if you like?
Well, it's not allowed into. I mean, first of all, it's the Riyadh season, and it's part of the Riyadh season. It's about delivering good fights. The Buatsi fight against Willie Hutchinson, that was going to purse bids. So he's involved with Boxer. So a deal was done and struck with Boxer to make that fight for Wembley, which is a very attractive fight to be putting on the card. And for me, as Willie Hutchinson's promoter, I think it's a really good fight for him.
A lot's been made about Eddie Hearn meeting Ben Shalom, you meeting Eddie Hearn some time ago now. Have you had a conversation with Ben in person yet?
Not really, not much, no.
Would you like to? You bothered?
It's not top of my wish list, but it is what it is. I can think of a lot more people I'd like to meet.
You've got all the UK kind of TV promoters working on this show at the moment with due respect to GBM Sports, who've recently done a TV deal, of course, but you've got yourself, the Sauerlands, Wasserman Boxing, who work with Channel 5 and The Zone, you, Eddie, Ben. What does it say about Riyadh season and boxing in the UK that all the major UK promoters are now on one show together?
But it's not the first time. I mean,
First time in a long time.
I mean, no, it's not. Riyadh season, we've had Wasserman's on before. Ben Shalom's had a fighter, I think, on the card before. It's not the first time it's happened.
I didn't think Ben had. I know Wasserman obviously
No,
had.
he had. I can't think what the fight is. I can't think who the fighter is, but he's definitely had a fighter on the card.
Should we expect this to continue in future Riyadh season events?
We'll see what fighters he's got.
Do you rate his stable as it stands?
There's a couple of fighters there who I like, whose
Not just the
contracts
two
are
that are on
ending
the
soon.
show, hopefully.
There's a couple of fighters whose contracts, I understand, are ending soon, and they'll be free agents, and we'll see. We'll find out.
I'm glad there's still a competitive element in all of this. You're not all friends all the time. Just before I let you go, I think Eddie was questioned about this yesterday, but the record attendance for boxing at Wembley, you'll know well, is Tyson against Dillian Whyte, 94,000 people. But there's been talk that HE might want to apply to raise the attendance limit to 100,000 and break the record with this show. What can you tell us about that?
Well, you can only do what the local authorities allow you to do, and we managed to get it in 94. When Tyson fought against Dillian Whyte, there were 200, sorry, there was nearly 400, it went up at the end, 400,000 people in the queue trying to buy tickets. So if we'd had a 400,000 seat stadium, we'd have 400,000 people there. So this one, I expect it to be an absolute burster. I think this is going to be a sellout event. And if we can get 100,000 people in there, we would get them in there. If we can get 120,000 people in there, we will get 120,000. Now, that's not going to happen, 120,000, but it'd be great to be able, for the local authorities, because it all depends about the local residents as well. And it's not just about getting the people in the stadium, it's getting them home. It's making sure the transport's available. It's making sure that, lots and lots of different things, safety aspects. Providing we can conform with them, I'd love to get 100,000 in there, and fingers crossed we do that.